Yay! I am live. Here is a beautiful day at the meeting place of heaven and earth, and I wanted it to. Hopefully, my screen starts blinking, and I'm like, am I live or not? Okay. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is the Simul with Stephen, and I finally got a reply from David D. With a request. So here it is. To get the Simul back on track, my request is to play black. So as soon as I hear back from Stephen, if he accepts this proposal, then we can go ahead and start the Simul, hopefully tomorrow at noon. That would be a good time for me to get it started. So that'll be really exciting, and I'll probably end up talking about that in a little bit because we live in a completely controlled reality. So having something like this that is uncontrolled is definitely really exciting, and not only catches the attention of many of us under the dome, but also outside of this reality as well. We're definitely being watched and judged by many, just like the Truman Show. And just like the Truman Show, there are actors and actresses, if you will, that are helping to keep this reality deception going, and this has been going on for thousands of years. So hi Kyle, how's it going? Getting fuel, and then I'll pay now attention on my break in just 5 minutes. Okay, drive safely. So I wanted let's just talk about the pre-trib rapture and jump right into what I wanted to discuss today. Many of you already know that I grew up in mainstream Christianity, as I refer to it, going to, Christian school from preschool to I graduated, and going to church every Sunday. My dad is technically he still is a minister, a pastor, but he's not active anymore. But anyways, so growing up, we heard this whole concept of the tribulation and this, end times situation where a lot of chaos happens, pestilence, famine, war, death, the four horsemen. And in the mainstream Christianity, we are often taught about the pre-trib rapture, this concept, this idea that before any of this bad stuff happens, just a bunch of people are going to disappear out of their clothes. And, they even made movies about it, Left Behind movies. There are even children's books like Left Behind Teen, I think maybe is what they're referred to. I had them growing up as well. So you can hear all of these horror stories about being left behind during the tribulation as a child. So anyways, a lot is put into this whole concept of the pre-trib rapture. And it's one of the things that I first came to question once I started to question things in 2015. And I wanted to go over some of the evidences in the Bible that literally disprove what people believe about this situation happening. In Revelation 13, chapter 13, verse 7, it says, "And it was given unto him," to the beast, "to make war with the saints and to overcome them." If the saints are all raptured out, there's no need for the tribulation. The tribulation is basically Satan's last hissy fit hopefully before he gets thrown in the bottomless pit. But this is something that we will discuss as we continue going on. So if we go to Matthew 24, it has the Christ talking to his disciples, and they say, "Tell us, what shall be the signs of thy coming and the end of the world?" And the Christ is literally talking to his disciples, right? And he goes on and basically says, you'll hear of wars and rumors of wars, and nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you. And ye shall be hated of all nation for my name's sake. Did anybody hear anything about them getting out of this situation? Or did you hear, then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you? Because that's what I heard. it continues on to say that he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. There's no guaranteed survival. There's no guaranteed survival that you'll even survive through today, right? There's specifically or especially no survival guaranteed through this time of trouble. It goes on in verse 15 to say that these disciples are going to see the abomination of desolation that is spoken of by Daniel in Daniel 12:11. And the next verse I wanted to point out is verse 19, because many people know I'm really obsessed with becoming a mom and have baby fever like really bad. But verse 19 says, "And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days." I can't even tell you how many times people have said, "Oh, well, you refusing to have children is just going along with their depopulation agenda." No, me refusing to have children is because based on knowledge of what is going on around us. Like, why in the world would you bring a child into this world with all of this mask nonsense, the jab stuff, pestilence, and famine literally on the horizon? There are mainstream articles, like I think the UN put an article out maybe 2 or 3 years back that says a famine of biblical proportions is on the horizon. Like, they've been over time using drought and chemtrails and flooding to decrease the amount of food that's being produced in general. But then also when all of this COVID stuff kicked in, you see all these articles about food being burned and stuff sitting off coastlines, waiting to be unloaded. So all of this stuff around us in the world says don't have a child, because that's evil. Why would you want to bring a child into this? Like, not only for their own sanity, right? They get brought into a world that's crap, but then you as a parent, you have to sit there and watch your child like go through famine. Come on, let's just use our common sense and not have babies right now. So we still haven't heard anything about this pre-trib rapture either. "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor shall ever be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." So again, no pre-trib rapture mentioned. Then it goes on in verse 29, and this is kind of interesting, and it'll bring up a different truth when we read this. "Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light." Most of you already know that the sun and moon are both actual self-illuminating discs. The moon is not reflecting the sun's light, and they actually have opposite properties. The sun is a warming, a heating light, and the moon, if you actually put two things out overnight, one in direct moonlight and one in the shade, and test them with a laser thermometer, you will see that the one in direct moonlight is actually cooler than the one in shade. And not only that, but the sunlight makes you feel content, whereas if you go out under the full moon like I often do, it brings out the lunatics. So they are like really opposite properties in that it's really cool that it says her, and says that in here. "And the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory." Now, how on earth would everybody see this Son of Man coming in the sky if we lived on a giant spinning ball? It's literally not possible, because the sky that I'm looking at is supposedly the opposite direction of the people that are living in Australia that are supposedly upside down in relation to me on the underside of a giant spinning ball. Doesn't make any logical sense. But if we're all on a stationary plane and I'm over here looking up in America and they're over here looking up in Australia, then we can all see up is up, down is down, and everything is perfect. Hey Sage, how's it going? Woohoo! YouTube lets me chat now. It's perfect. Kirk says, "Such a wise woman." Thank you. Shrimp clips. What is the schedule for the chess? Sorry if you've already talked about it. I plan on getting the game started tomorrow at noon if Steven agrees to David D's request to play black, which shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, Matthew 24 specifically has the Christ talking about the end times, and he's literally telling his disciples that they will see all of these things, that, you know, they are the ones that need to flee up into the mountains, and that they will see all of these trials. That's what the tribulation is. It's a testing, a trial, a war. And I keep telling people, like, stop focusing on romance and being in relationships and focus on the war. Like, I know there's been some confusion. Like, I'm not in a relationship. I'm not looking to be in a relationship. I'm focused on the golden age. If I feel tremendous pressure on my shoulders, and if I stop pushing for the golden age, then it's not going to happen. Like, there's only two futures possible, and it's the new world order that we are by default going towards. With, you know, humans alone are fueling the new world order with their daily dietary choices. Like, if you go out and enslave the animals, if you prey on them, if you cull them and eat them, why do you think that our own species wouldn't have these same things happen to us? We are fueling all of these evils by our own actions. And the golden age is the alternative to the new world order, and it's something that we have to fight for. It's not something that is, there's no future that is set in stone. Nothing is guaranteed, and yeah, this world is what we make it. If there was a future that was set in stone, it kind of negates the whole reason that we're here, which is wisdom. Like, Sophia, the soul that is empowering this earth, Mother Earth, if you will, she is seeking wisdom, and that is why she continues to do what she does, and that's why free will is allowed. That's why the end is not guaranteed. We have to fight for it, and if we stop fighting for it, then by default we go towards the new world order. And sure, you can, you know, get married and have babies and distract yourself from everything that's going on, but as I said before, what world is that child going to grow up in? Like, their new world order is completely tyrannical, and if you are against them sodomizing your child, then you're a bigot and you're going to get your child taken from you. Like, that's not a hyperbole. That's where they want things to go. So hi, Akshar, how's it going? Hey, Chad. Is eating bugs vegan? No, that is not vegan, and it's also really degrading to you. I mean, it's already degrading enough that people are eating corpses, but just imagine these humans crawling around in the grass, like picking for bugs. It's so just the next level down in evolution, evolution, you know, the evilifying of humanity. Bugs are part of the animal kingdom. Yes, agreed. Confident no, says Akshar. Perfect. Okay, so the other verse that I wanted to show you is Matthew 13, which most people are already familiar with, the parable of the wheat and tares. The kingdom of heaven is like unto a man which sowed good seed in his field, but while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? And he said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servants said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? He said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let them both grow until the harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, Gather ye first the tares, okay, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. That's like, you can't even be more clear than gather ye first the tares. So if you're gathered first, that's not good news. Like, you want to be left behind in this situation. Like, okay. So then it continues on to verse 36, where his disciples are asking for further clarification. And he just says to them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one, which, the inverted clowns that are running our world, this story goes right along with that, right? They can look like us, they can act like us, they can talk like us, but they're not like us at the end of the day. They are the seed of the serpent, the enemy. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity. So God's great household is getting cleaned up, and everything that offends is what is gathered up first and thrown into this fire. And then the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Love it. Hey, Plaid Panther, how's it going? Okay, so we talked about these things. Cool. Let's see what I wrote here in Revelation 20. Okay, so obviously learning that you go through this tribulation can be very concerning for people, but my mentality, I'm going to read this part here, Revelation 23, well, it kind of starts a little bit before that, but the serpent, Satan, is cast into the bottomless pit for 1,000 years, and then the millennial reign of Christ happens. So it's tribulation, then the serpent, Satan, gets locked into the bottomless pit for 1,000 years. This millennial reign of Christ is exactly the golden age that I have been banging on about for years now. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Christ and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. Like, not to go full crazy on you, when I first read this, I was like, all right, Obama, where are the guillotines? Let's go. Like, I'm actually going to be rewarded for having some courage and standing up and, standing against this. Like, I would much rather go through the tribulation and have a chance to do that than get zapped away to not fight. Like, my soul came here for a fight, and the tribulation is exactly what that is. It also doesn't make any sense that the people that, supposedly in the context of this, all of the saints, all of the people that know God and all of the answers, right, are taken away, and the other people are left with nothing. It's like, I would rather be here to be able to tell people and help them find the truth and, be in the tribulation and have a chance of that. But then again, I guess I'm not like most people. So while we're in Revelation 20, I wanted to point out Revelation 21, verse 18 and 21. It is talking about this new heaven and new earth and the new Jerusalem. It says that the city was pure gold, like unto clear glass. That's verse 18. And then verse 21 says that the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass. That's 2 times in one chapter that it confirms that pure gold, or they both say pure gold. Pure gold is as transparent glass. And I've been talking about the firmament dome above us being made out of this pure gold. If you are able to heat gold up and get all of the impurities out of it, it actually becomes the most strong material that matter can be made out of. And it also becomes clear like gold. So it makes sense that, it was used to not only hold the waters above, but it also allows the watchers to see what we are doing. So that's pretty cool. Kyle says he's finally on lunch. Woohoo! Kyle play Akshar. Okay, you guys are getting a little chess tournament set up here. I like it. Okay, so let me see what else I wanted to read here. Ooh, let's talk about Revelation 12 really quick, because this is kind of like the last topic that I wanted to talk about in this for right now. There appeared a wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pained to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew down the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And that's definitely how I feel like if I were to get pregnant, that CPS would be waiting at my door to devour my child, because I want to be the best mom that I can possibly be, and I want my child to be holy from the womb. Like, I'm going to be completely cautious about what I consume, and absolutely cautious about what my future children consume after they are out. And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. Long live the king! And her child was caught up to God and his throne. Then she fled into the wilderness. There's a war in heaven, and Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon was cast out into the earth. And it's interesting because it says here that neither was their place found anymore in heaven. So it's interesting if you go and read in Job. I don't know. Here we go. Job, first chapter here. It talks about, now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. So this is giving the picture that basically Satan and his minions can go before God. And not only that, but if you read further, basically Satan and his minions go and tempt Job, and it's a pretty interesting story. But anyways, back to Revelation 12 here. Satan is cast out of heaven, and he basically tries to kill the woman. And when she is spared, the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Christ. There are many people that will say that there are 2 different seeds here in the Bible, the woman's seed and the serpent's seed. And there has been this battle between them. And, it starts all the way in the garden and it ends here in Revelation. And that kind of goes right along with the wheat and the tares, and how these tares are the children of the evil one. So it kind of all does fit in together. And I'm not at Ellie's, Kyle. No, I'm at the golf course right now. So speaking of this rod of iron, I did want to mention that Christos, the Greek word 5547, means the anointed one. And there are actually 3 verses in the Old Testament that say that King David will be the returning king. Jeremiah 39, but they shall serve the Lord their God and David their king, whom I will raise up to them. I'll just give you the actual verse, and you can go look at the context later if you want, my little brother. Ezekiel 37 and 24. And David my servant shall be their king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them. I've spoken before about prophecies about the future Israel in the Bible and how they have not been fulfilled by the current state of Israel that was established by the Rothschilds. They used Hitler, who is an FTM, and just manipulated the whole situation to to bring the order that they wanted, right, from the chaos that they created. About 100 years ago, they did a lot of the same types of stuff that they are doing now to a lesser extent. Like, history does repeat itself, but things are getting worse over time. So this time is going to be a lot worse than the last time, which was, the Spanish flu. The governments were lying to the people to, keep up morale for regarding the death tolls, and just a whole bunch of stuff that's repeating again: wars, race wars, famine as well. So it's interesting to see how history does repeat itself. And then the last verse here is Hosea 3:5. Afterwards shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord their God and David their king, and shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter days. Isaiah 11 talks about how this holy mountain, let's see right here, and they shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. So lots of prophecies talking about basically return to Eden in a way. And another thing that I wanted to mention is that there are a whole group of people that say that there is evidence in the Bible for a second Exodus, basically during these end times where God's people will be called from the four corners of the earth to a specific place. And I think that is pretty cool. Robert, that's exactly what I believe. Return to Mount Shasta. I think that Mount Shasta is the future Israel, the real one. And obviously the beginning of the golden age, which is why I'm here. If it was going to start somewhere else, that's where I would be. But yeah, hey Lee, how's it going? And Robert, hi. I didn't get to say that when you came in. And Anna, what are your thoughts on the story of Herod? Herod in the Bible? I haven't exactly looked into it any more than the mainstream narrative, so I would definitely have to. Chad says, got to move out of America to raise a baby. I disagree with that. I don't know any other country that I would want to move to. It's nothing against other countries, the physical location of it, but especially for now, like, I have my guns here and I'm happy where I am. And Anna, oh wait, you already said that. Robert said, I defeated Satan long ago. No, just got to take the rest of the trash out. Okay, interesting. How do you believe that you defeated Satan? Hi, Lee, how are you? Hi, Anana, beautiful. And hey, chat, just popping by for 5 minutes. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Hi, Dima, how are you? Robert says, must carry your own crosses. Jesus, tired. He never died for anyone's sins. Return to Mount Shasta. Okay, regarding the whole concept of the Christ dying for anyone's sins, I have here my lovely Gospel of the Holy 12 copy here. And Lection 33 talks about this exact thing and says, no blood offering of beast or bird or man can take away sin. For how can the conscience be purged of sin by the shedding of innocent blood? Nay, it will increase the condemnation. The priest indeed received such offering as a reconciliation of the worshippers for the trespasses against the law of Moses, but for sins against the law of God, there can be no remission save by repentance and amendment. There are some that would argue that the Israelites, when they came out of Egypt, that they had learned all of these practices, and Moses was trying to get them to stop, sacrificing animals, but they wouldn't stop sacrificing. So he said, okay, if you have to kill them, then just sacrifice them only to Yah. Like, you're only allowed to worship one God. And then later somebody will come along that's greater than me that will end all of the sacrifices. And that is where the Christ comes in. Is it not written in the prophets, put your blood sacrifices to your burnt offerings and away with them, and cease ye from eating of flesh? So it is something you should look into if you are interested For I spake not to your fathers, nor commanded them when I brought them out of Egypt concerning these things. But this thing I commanded, saying, Obey my voice and walk in the ways that I have commanded you, and ye shall be my people, and it shall be well with you. But they hearkened not, nor inclined their ears. I love this. I say unto you, shed no innocent blood, nor eat ye flesh. Walk uprightly, love mercy, and do justly, and your days shall be long in the land. Kyle, I'm reading from the Gospel of the Holy 12, and that is lection 33. It's available online for free, obviously, but I love books, and this hard copy, like this scroll, I should say, is what I believe I was led to by God that really changed my life, and so I just love this. Robert, you say you're the third coming of Christ. Okay, well, I personally am waiting for King David, and he's my future child, so yeah. Anyways, I think that was all that I wanted to read from this for now. Yes. King David. When I first woke up to the Pretrib Rapture, I did a lot of arguing on YouTube. That was kind of my first, I didn't start on Facebook. I started on YouTube, and I met this guy named Shane. If you're watching, Shane, shout out to you. And these are actually all these emails that we exchange back and forth regarding the Pretrib Rapture mainly. And so that was pretty cool. I really don't like arguing on YouTube anymore, though. It'll probably be too hard to show you this. It's not really that important. So anyways, Robert, you're also Buddha and King Tut. Okay. You want to just be all of the characters? Like, I'm this one. It's like a little child when they have their Barbies and they want to be all of the Barbies, and you get left with the bad one. That's funny. All right, so another thing that I wanted to talk to you about is celebrities going into hiding. And my last live video, I talked about a certain chess player that is not returning to defend their title. And hey, J-Star, how's it going? This is only one of the many celebrities that are stepping out of the limelight that are not going to be putting themselves in front of us anymore. And it should be pretty obvious to any truthers why they are running away from the light, because they know that we have the eyes to see. And once we have the eyes to see, they go from being our heroes to the laughing stock. Like, I can't even like look at some of these grandmaster chess players without just laughing so hard. Robert says, but the real celebrities are out here shining. Yes. For those of you who are new and don't know, our world is run by the great deceiver, Satan, if you will. And just like the parable of the wheat and tares talks about, these tares are used to run our world. They are, your actors and actresses. They are politicians. They are CEOs. They're your social media influencers. They're everything. Like, they're in every file and rank, if you will, of Satan's power pyramid to try to infiltrate and corrupt us. Like, they're even from the CEOs to even like people that are homeless. Like, they're in every different category, and they are used to corrupt and deceive us. So Kyle just bought that gospel. Woohoo! Yay! I love the Gospel of Holy 12. Like, I can't say enough good things about it. So J-Star says, is Satan an extraterrestrial being or more like an actual individual? Satan is a jinn, which are beings of smokeless fire. They are really ancient. They were created a lot of time before humans. It didn't come out right. They were created a long time before humans were. And they're extremely smart. They're extremely magically gifted. They can live for a really, really long time. The most impressive of them can shapeshift. So the story goes that you have this really, really impressive species, and then God creates humans, and the Jinn, Satan, and some of his buddies are like, we're not going to bow to that creation, like that clay Barbie doll that you got over there isn't worth them bowing to, right? Like they had a problem with the creation of humans, and Satan asked to take on the role of the corrupter of humanity, and him and his minions like to see how much of clowns humans can be. And for thousands of years, we've basically just been letting them use us like puppets, like not even aware that they exist, right? How many people don't even believe that demons exist? Don't believe that Satan exists. Like they have no idea which way is up in this world. And especially when you don't know that demons are real, that you can be influenced by external forces, like the cartoon, with an angel on one side and the devil on the other, and they're both whispering in your ears. That's real life. You can be influenced by these external forces. And if you don't realize that you are being influenced by them, then you can, basically you just get turned into a clown. If you're in a relationship, they can go to each person in the relationship and, fester things and just make things blow out of proportion, just all types of ways that they can play with humans. So it's definitely a good thing to know that they are real, and to be able to fight back against them. Robert says, I'm houseless temporarily. I do have a full-time job, though. Well, that is good that you have a full-time job. Well, I should clarify. I don't believe that humans should be having full-time jobs, or it's not like I don't think that you can if you want to. But I think that we came here to do other things besides for chase money and work a 9 to 5. Like your soul came here to do bigger and better things. But what I was going to say is, people that are homeless often have times finding a job because they don't have an address. They don't have somewhere that their things can go. So that's why I was kind of saying that it's a good time it's a good that you have a job, in that situation. It's really hard for them. Sage says, I will teach some chess now at the Headwaters. Woohoo! I was actually going to talk to you about starting the Shasta Chess Club. So yeah, Robert says, jinns have no power over you once you know who you are. I'm not sure about that. We definitely can fight back against them, but yeah, I don't know. It's a complex situation. I also shower at 24 hours. Okay, at least you have a place to go. Life of a targeted individual, LOL, empowered, I should say. Definitely. They are trying to crush real humans down, and even with the fires, like California is just becoming a horrible, horrible place for people to live, and it's been like that for a long time. Most people associate California in general with all of the degeneracy that happens down south. Thankfully, I'm in a pretty conservative area, which unfortunately also comes along with the farmers. So the meeting place of heaven and earth is just like a bunch of enslaved cows roasting in the sun with no shade. It's like absolutely evil. But anyways, my point is that it's a little bit different than down south. In Southern California, I remember getting asked for a vaccine passport to go into a bar. I'm like, oh, I forgot it at home. Like I don't have one. But yeah, they actually let me in. But up here, we didn't have nowhere to my knowledge actually had requirements for that. So anyways, it's not Cali, it's the people. It's not the government, it's the people. It's both, really. I mean, the government everywhere in our world is inverted. I almost said the T word. Inverted clowns, satanic losers, and they are trying to make it unlivable. What I was going to say is the living requirements for California are going up. Like if you want to have a house, you have to have a multi-$1,000 sprinkler system. The cost of living is a lot higher here. The job market is not so great. And now, of course, wildfire season, just right on time. Won't go into too many conspiracies about that, but I know you guys know what's up with that. I don't believe in wildfires. We live in a completely controlled reality. So, yeah. Kyle says left is right, up is down, right? And if you go right enough, you'll end up left. Or if you go up enough, you'll end up down on a globe. Anyways. Robert says, no, Kyle, up is up and down is down, just like life on flat earth. Agreed. Robert says, I'm just not going to beg for money, you know. I still got to feed myself during this transition. I have legal issues going on with my family who hid and stole an inheritance from me. Oh, wow. Hopefully you get all of that figured out. Legal issues are... Ugh. Of course, we all know, well, I don't know, we don't all know necessarily, but most of the people that follow me know that the criminals giving justice system, the government is literally controlled to the top by Satan and his minions. And, you know, they try to rig the deck against us, but almost always there is a way out. And that's not just with that situation, but with everything. It's funnier to the watchers, to Satan and his minions, if something is possible and you work really hard and you get this close and then you quit. Like, that is what entertains them. And this world is not in existence purely for entertainment. Obviously, bringing wisdom is why Sophia does this, but this world definitely provides entertainment value, and unfortunately it's usually humans being turned into clowns rather than humans actually doing anything impressive that is entertaining. Humans are, generally speaking, extremely boring and never really do anything exciting. When you see this Georgia Guidestones blown up on the news, it's like, you should already know in your heart that real humans didn't do that. That was done by controlled elements. Like, what real human is going to risk going to jail for blowing up a stinking rock? Like, honestly, if you're going to risk going to jail, you're probably going to do something a lot more extreme. And like I said, it just doesn't happen. All of these false flag, these terrorist shooter events, you know, it's not real. None of it's real. It's funnier when we are all afraid of Muslim terrorists or, you know, shooter sprees when no one actually got hurt. Kyle says, I'm just saying how the narrative has confused people into thinking invertly instead of clearly. Absolutely. Wow. Okay. See you later, Robert. Thank you for joining, and have fun at work. Hopefully that goes well. Extra says, we are all waiting for us, U.S. government, to allow international travelers without vax certificate. Yeah, then you can finally come over and visit. Woohoo! Who knows though when that will be allowed to happen? I don't see them getting less restrictive any time soon. And just on this topic, people want to try to say that the jab is the mark of the beast. I don't know about you, but I've never heard of anybody getting a jab in their hand or in their forehead. So it doesn't make any logical sense why people are saying that the jab is the mark of the beast. Like, it makes way more sense that it's actual chip, and most people already have the chip in their hand with their credit card. Like, it's already in the works. Hi, Migweeplop, what's your name there? Hello, where is the chess? The chess is going to be on or in my Facebook group. Here is, get off my screen. Let me give you a link to the, sorry. Okay. This is the post that will have links. Simul, master post. Okay. This will have links to all of the games when I get them started tomorrow. Robert says, family has also been doing dark magic and putting shit in my food. Oh, wow. That is crazy, Robert. You need to stay away from your family then. Kyle says, a rock that proves flat earth too. It's funny. Oh yeah, Kyle also mentioned the Antarctic Treaty, proving that all governments work together. Yes, signing a document that basically says that traveling there, digging for oil or whatever, all of these resources is a no-no, and they are all in it together. Furthermore, once you learn how to transvestigate, you're going to see all presidents have been female, all first laddies have been male. Is like Putin's a girl, the clown running Korea is a girl. Like, they're all inverted clowns, every single one of them. Like, so it becomes really obvious once you have the eyes to see, to figure out who is who. And Todd's outside. And that's one reason why I always show off my female flaring hips, because hips don't lie. Hi Jara, how's it going? Good evening. Sage, you're just looking for victims, aren't you? Rose, how are you? Rose E says that Satan has fallen because of arrogance, the same reason why people reject many truth. Worst sin is arrogance. You think that arrogance is a worse sin than like sodomizing a child? I don't know. I don't agree with that. And I also don't believe that all sins are like the same level. I believe that God's a righteous judge, and he's not gonna look at somebody who told a little white lie and somebody who sodomized 20 children and just said, you guys are both equal, same amount of jail time, you know, everything is equal here. That's not yeah. Does Tom know? Who's Tom? Plaid Panther says, still waiting for your transvestigation video of Natalie. I'm sorry, Plaid Panther. I never said I was making a transvestigation video of Natalie Portman. What I said was I would put my picture next to Natalie Portman, and I've already done that on my community page. I'm not interested in making a bunch of separate transvestigations for a bunch of different celebrities. But I will, like I said, put my hips next to theirs. And actually, I didn't just put my hips next to his. I put my face next to his too. And let me just give you the link. Gosh, this clown is ugly. Okay. Nate's a lie, Portman. Here we go. Nate a lie, Portman. Okay. Hi, Eric. How are you? Speaking of Eric made an interesting comment on my Facebook that I wanted to address here. If I can find it. Here we go. Seems like the light and the dark of the same side fighting each other for our own amusement. So there is an interesting dynamic with the forces of light and dark that are under the dome, right? So there are entities inside of our realm, and there are entities outside of our realm, and the darkest of souls are not allowed in. The darkest of dark souls actually want to end physical reality. So if they get let in, they're going to do really bad things, and it's just not allowed. The mother and father don't allow it to happen. So that alone, you know, kind of is like, wow, that's an interesting truth, that it's an exclusive club and that the darkest of souls aren't allowed in. So it's kind of an interesting thing. In that regard, the forces of light and the forces of darkness, like the forces of light in general are trying to keep the mother going, and the forces of darkness in general, you know, these darkest ones outside are battling against each other. Inside of the dome, the forces of darkness and light, they are battling against each other, and it is a real battle for souls. Like, what side is going to win the souls, right? Satan and his darkness pulling the souls down and corrupting them, or the light bearer and the purification programming going out and purifying souls, right? So in that, there is a legitimate war going on between the forces of light and darkness, but both of the forces of light and the forces of darkness that are inside of this realm ultimately want this realm to continue to exist. So in that area, they both do have the same interest to keep physical reality going. So an argument could be made that in one way they are working together to keep the mother going, but that's about as far as it goes, because at the end of the day, these forces of darkness are trying to corrupt humanity, and the forces of light are trying to purify. So there's that fundamental war that's going on between them that it doesn't allow for us to, be working together to a complete extent. That being said, all of the inverted clowns have free will, and they can certainly choose to stop doing evil and be good. And we already see that there is a decline in the adrenochrome usage, and that's very evident by like Celine Dion going from like a normal looking creature to a walking skeleton in like a really short amount of time, like really bad pictures of specifically Celine Dion, but other inverts as well. And the child trafficking rings en masse have been stopped also. So we have this situation where the inverts are very aware that the corruptor is going out of power and the purifier is stepping into power, and they are purifying mainly out of self-preservation, right? They don't want to be passed on, and how they continue to exist is by stopping to do evil. They're also trying to create this situation where basically they are the ones that are more pure than the humans. So by the majority of the inverts being vegan, they can point at humans and say the majority of humans think that bacon is the only word that you need to utter to even justify continuing eating animals. Like, it makes humans look really, really bad. And that's the state that we're at right now, is that the inverts, like the majority of them, are vegan already. They're not preying on the innocents. So they're making humans look extra bad. And like I said before, humans are fueling the new world order with that. Like, your stupid bacon, that little piece of flesh that you think that you can't live without, like disgusting piece of pig butt. Like, first of all, you are what you eat. So if you're consistently eating pig butt, then don't be surprised if you're a pig butt. But seriously, this little piece of bacon, is it really worth not only you being enslaved, but your children? Like, you won't give up eating the flesh of the innocent to make a better world for your children? Like, no offense, but you're a crappy parent. Just saying. So Eric, hopefully that answered your question and gave you some more things to think about in that regards of the, forces of light and darkness working together. So yeah, it is definitely an interesting dynamic, but at the end of the day, there are real souls on the line. A soul can only get so dark and corrupt before it doesn't want to exist again. Just like, a light can only get so dim before it goes out. And that's the same concept with souls. And even further, if somebody, comes into this world and has their mind wiped and starts out as a baby, and if they fully believe, like 100% in their soul, at a soul level, that death is the end, they can manifest that reality for themselves. They can manifest a complete lights out after this physical existence. So it's definitely more than playing with fire. It's probably one of the reasons that there are a certain group of Gnostics that say that physical reality is evil. Gnostic just means gnosis is knowledge of spiritual mysteries, and you can have like Christian Gnostics, Jewish Gnostics, like different sects of Gnostics, different groups that can sometimes believe completely different things. I personally don't believe that this world in itself is evil. This world not only like brings about wisdom, but it gives us new experiences that we don't have outside of this realm. We don't need to eat out there. We don't need to drink. We don't get to fall in love and make babies and just be mommies. Like, that just doesn't happen outside of this realm. It gives our souls something to do. If you think of, really long lifed entities, these souls that live for essentially an eternity, sitting around outside of this realm where you're all powerful and all of this stuff. Yeah, it's going to be great for a while, especially when you're, still wet behind the ears. But once you start to be more mature and you've gone through how long have you been sitting, in the ether, the cosmic ocean with nothing to do? It's, getting bored to death is a legitimate thing. So this world also gives souls something to do, a reason for existence. And that's one reason why I'm really passionate about continuing it to exist, because what are our souls going to do without it? Like, I don't want to go down that path personally. I know that it'll just cause a lot more souls to go out of existence. So it's not something that I am going to just sit back idly and allow. We have to keep fighting. Hi, Full White, how's it going? Sorry, I can't stop eating chicken. Well, have you tried any of the vegan chicken substitutes? Kyle says, poor pig, what did the cute pig do to them? Yeah. How heartless is it to see an actual sentient being? Like, pigs are also so stinking cute, little tiny baby pigs. Oh my gosh. How can you look at that animal and just say bacon? I mean, it's a rhetorical question because I know that it's a demonic possession. The bacon demon is the strongest in his arena. Bacon is the closest thing that you can eat to eating human flesh. And I can't speak from experience because I don't like bacon. I never liked bacon when I ate animals, but it's extremely addictive. And, cannibals say that human bacon is better than pig bacon. So, yeah. Kyle says, I can't die. Almond butter tastes too good. That's funny. Is that your reason for existence then, Kyle, is almond butter? Everybody's got to have something, I guess. Full White says, vegan food is expensive. Well, it definitely can be, but you can also make your own. And at the end of the day, is it more expensive than your soul? Because every time that you go and buy that animal flesh, you're corrupting your soul, you're prematurely aging yourself, and you're fueling the New World Order. So as far as expensive goes, it might cost physically more monopoly money, but in the long run, it is way more expensive to eat that chicken because it's costing your soul, it's costing your physical body, it's costing your future. Hi, Faith. Faith says, hey, Queen, do you think one can come back into this realm as an animal as karma for one killing animals for their whole lifetime? I do believe that there is karmic repercussions for our actions. At the same time, though, I think that this is a game of consent. So I think it might be a complex subject that I don't have all of the answers to. How the exact mechanisms of karma and reincarnation work, but I definitely believe in both of them. And I think that we also have soul families. So my mom is actually my mom, and in these souls kind of reincarnate together as well into families. So yes. What do you think about it, Faith? Yeah, it's kind of a hard topic because, like I was saying, we play a game of consent. So if you were forced to come in as a cow because you were a cow slave owner, then that's not exactly consent. So yeah, it's kind of a complex topic, I guess. But yeah, let me see if I have anything else written down to talk to you about today. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. My phone died. That's great. All right. Full White says, I'm Muslim. I don't believe there's anything wrong with eating animals if they were being slaughtered mercifully. Well, there are verses in the Quran about being kind to animals. And at the end of the day, your religious beliefs are not justification for ending the lives of sentient beings. Like, do you really think that God wants you to kill animals and eat them? And furthermore, how are you going to slaughter something mercilessly? Like, this cow doesn't want to die. It doesn't need to die. And you just go cut its throat. So can the Nakash snakes, who are obligate carnivores, say that they don't have a problem with humans being slaughtered mercifully, right? So if someone just comes and lops your head off, or, shoots you when you're walking through the woods, that's cool, right? Because that's what you believe is okay to do to other animals. Chara says no such thing as slaughtered mercifully. Yes. Well, I guess I should say, there's a way that you could be mean to the animal that you're killing, or you could do it quickly, right? That's an obvious truth that there are different ways to kill them. But at the end of the day, it's evil. Full White said, God put them in earth for us to eat them. That's their own purpose. Wow, you're very full of yourself that you think that God put sentient beings on this earth, that created them just for you to be your slaves, to be your entertainment, to be your food. Well, Nakash say that exact thing about humans. So as long as you're okay with them farming you in the New World Order going on, then just keep saying the exact same silly things that you're saying now. God did not put sentient beings on this earth for us to eat. He gave us a raw herb and fruit-bearing seed in the garden. You think that Adam and Eve were going around slaughtering animals in the Garden of Eden? That's not a Garden of Eden, that's a hell. Faith says, I would think that it would only be fair if you wanted to come back into this realm, you would have to first come back and endure your karma. I've seen this concept in movies. In a movie I watched a few days ago called The Little Buddha. Okay, that's cool. Is that available online, or do you have to get it somewhere else? One of the things that I read in my How to Become Immortal video is this concept of, when you are doing evil, you are forming bonds with demons. So if the specific demon likes the flesh that you're eating, the demon can, basically possess you and get pleasure from you eating that flesh, and you're forming a bond with them, a relationship with them. And then when you die, you actually have to go through a purification process, a fire, a literal fire, to detach the demons from your own soul. So it's a really interesting thing. So I'm not really sure if that would, be payment for the evil that we have done to go through that burning. Because, when you're physically burnt alive, there are mechanisms that God put into play that the pain receptors will shut off. But when you're outside of this, when your soul is being put through this purification process, there's no relief from that pain. So, yeah. Hey, Double J, how's it going? New World Order Rio, yes. Libra Love Light, how's it going? I'm a Libra moon. Dima says, but Inanna animals, also some of them eats other animals. Yeah, but what does that have to do with you? Like, a lion going out and killing another lion and then sleeping with his wife doesn't give anybody the justification to do the same thing. Like, animals doing things doesn't matter. Like, why are we go to supermarkets and buy our food out of grocery stores? Okay, so there's no logical reason that anybody's comparing themselves to animals. The Nakash, the snakes, are the only obligate carnivores. Full White says, this earth not the Garden of Eden, so it's different. Here animals are here for a reason. Well, like I said, Nakash think that you, human, are here for a reason. They were here first. They're obligate carnivores. They find you super duper tasty, and they're a lot smarter than you. They're ruling our world. So again, as long as you're okay with this hell that's manifesting around us, you being enslaved, having to work a 9 to 5, getting, taxes taken from you. I don't know exactly where you are, but that's how it works here in America, is that you go and you work and you work and you work before you even see your paycheck. the government's taken part of it out. So if you are okay with all of this, then just go ahead and keep doing the evil that you are doing and try to justify it based on a book. Otherwise, find your heart, your compassion, and stop killing babies. Pretty easy. Kyle said, I think it's definitely possible for an ancestor to inhabit an animal. There's instances where birds make connections with people and visit them often. I definitely agree with that. I want a pet, well, not a pet, but a friend lion in the future. Like, that'd be so cool. Libra Love Light. Yes, heck yeah. Full White says, we are animals as well. I definitely disagree with that statement. We are gods and goddesses in human body. We are divinely created beings, and the powers that be want us to act like animals. They call us goyim, which makes sense because how many are addicted to cow's milk? You're a little baby cow. Just saying. But yeah, we're not animals. Jara says at Full White, you are religiously indoctrinated. Yes. Kyle says, never confuse dominion as domination. I like that. And a lot of people try to say that God gave us dominion over the animals. And I say, absolutely, we have dominion. Do you use your power to enslave them, to prey on them, to use and abuse them, and then eat them like a psychopath? Or do you use your power to make the world a best place as you can for these beings, and to let them be free and live long and peaceful lives just like you want to live as well? What you do with your power definitely shows who your master is. You know, the Creator put us in a Garden of Eden in this perfect little scenario, not enslaved. The enslavement came when Satan came. So who's your master? What actions are you taking in life? So yeah, as long as humans keep enslaving other species, we will be enslaved, and that is fair. That is the only thing that is right, that should happen. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I almost dropped my cup. That would have been sad. All right, I think I'm going to wrap it up here unless you guys have something interesting to say in the chat. This, I think that I pretty much said everything that I wanted to say today. So yeah, again, here is the link to the master post for the Simul, and I plan to get that started tomorrow at noon if Stephen agrees to David D playing black. Faith says, what evil people do to animals is not equivalent to burning. That's my opinion, though. At least those who know what they are doing is wrong. I hear what you're saying. I don't have all the answers for karma and, reincarnation and stuff, but I do think that the pain that will be felt by those doing evil, having to go through this purification fire is going to be definitely painful. I don't know, I was going to say that, but judgment for what they have done. And it's not like God is sending people to hell or doing all of this stuff. It's like, you were the one who chose to do evil. You were the one who sat there and entertained the demons and became best friends with them and allowed them to whisper in your ear, and you just did anything that they told you. And then you're going to blame God for the suffering that you encounter after you die. Like, put on your clown shoes, bro, and look in the mirror. Anyways. Yay, Plaid Panther says, thanks for sharing the link about Natalie Portman. It makes sense. I see it. Woohoo. Did you see their skull? Like, they got a really manly head. Transvestigation is something that it's my number one go-to thing. A lot of even truthers are like, hey, what do you think about so-and-so? I'm like, dude, that is an invert. I don't have any heroes. I don't follow anybody. I just don't have time for idols at this point. But I definitely do transvestigate everyone. And that is one reason why I'm excited about the Simul, because I think it's actually real humans for once, which is really, really exciting. Because everything in the world is completely controlled. Professional sports completely rigged and inverted. Professional chess, the inverts are, these two demon-possessed inverted clowns that are playing clown chess against each other, and we're all supposed to sit back and ooh and ah. It's just like, no, I'm gonna throw tomatoes at you, clowns. Yeah, just like everything else: sports, chess, poker, golf, everything, like everything is controlled. Kyle says empathy and compassion is needed now more than ever. Everyone needs to watch the documentary called Earthlings. I actually watched it here on a Friday night fun, so I will link you to me, Earthlings, Queen Anna. So you can watch it with me if you want, and you can see me cry over the animals. It's so sad. Okay. Earthling with the Queen. Sweet. All right, and in the link in the description of that is my other YouTube channel that you should sub to if you're not subbed, because I can't go live on that, and if I get banned from here, then I won't be able to go live except for on Facebook. So yeah. All right, I'm going to. Akshar says Earthlings is literally the documentary that made me go vegan. Woohoo! Yeah, many of you already know that I went vegan because of the Essene teachings, primarily the Gospel of the Holy 12. The connection was just made, I've always been really anti-abortion. Unpopular opinion, even in cases of rape and ectopic pregnancy, like I am against killing babies. There are articles of women carrying ectopic pregnancies to term, and they were fine. Their baby was fine. There's articles about women who were raped, and they also carried their children to term, and they loved them because the child had nothing to. The child wasn't the guilty party involved in this. Anyways, I'm not getting off on an abortion tangent, but I have always been really anti-abortion, and it was kind of like the connection was made. If you want to claim to be a voice for the voiceless, then how are you going to sit there and slaughter cows? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You're only the voice for the human voiceless, and all of the things that we do to these animals, we're consenting to have done to us. So every time that you are paying somebody to separate a mommy cow from her baby cow so that you can suck on their tit secretions, like, you are karmically consenting to that kind of stuff happening to you. And I don't know about you, but if someone tried to take my child from me, I would set the world on fire. Like, watch out. Yeah, it kind of makes me really fired up. But making that connection is like, I can't possibly continue on the path that I'm on. So that's why I went vegan. Kyle says, here is a vegan playlist I made. Here is, Dima says, where's the tea and fries? I got my tea right here, but I'm not having fries today. I'm going to be good. The last time that I had fries, I was not too satisfied with them. I asked for them extra crispy, and if you can't get them extra crispy, I can't eat them. Like, who likes soggy fries? I don't know. Maybe something's wrong with your taste buds, but yes. Dado. Is that how you say your name? Hi, Anana. How's it going? How are you? I was actually probably getting ready to wrap this up. Kyle, I'll check out your vegan playlist later when I get home. What is on here? Oh, nice. Sweet. All right. Like I said, I'm going to head out, and hopefully you guys have a wonderful day. I will catch up with you next week. And in the meantime, catch up with me on Facebook, and don't forget to send that chest fit if you can. Okay, yes. Dadu, or however you say your name, have you read the Quran? I have not read the Quran. I did recently download the Quran with the intent of reading it at some point, because I know that there are a lot of hidden truths in there, just like there are hidden truths in every religious text. The Quran talks about flat earth. They talk about the jinn. And there are also some stories about the Christ and his early life that are, left out of the Bible. So it's pretty interesting. I think that especially the Abrahamic religions, all have a lot in common, and it's crazy how separated they have been made. worshiping the same God, but then having Christians like completely anti-Muslim, or other way around, or any of these things. So yeah, it's pretty interesting, but they use every tool that they can to divide and conquer us. They can get us fighting about religion or race or any issue under the sun. At least we're not joining together and fighting them. Ultimately, the war is us versus them, real humans versus the non-humans, the wheat versus the tares, and we really need to stay focused on that because of all of these, media psyops and everything that's trying to get us to be divided. Even as truthers, like the truther community is so divided, it's ridiculous, and we should be the most united because we have the truth. Obviously, people are going to have to start questioning their religions before that can happen, because so many times someone wakes up and they're like, oh, well, here's my book and my pre-held religion, and oh, flat earth is true, the Bible says that, Satan runs our world, the Bible says that, check. Okay, well then this must be 100% true, right? Like, it goes to solidify the religion that they already were in before, rather than ever questioning it. And that is one reason that we are where we are today. And of course, the truther community is full of inverted clowns. That's actually the majority of the truther community. Unfortunately, most real humans are uninterested. They're asleep. And that's one reason why I, am really focused on the chess world right now, because there are actually real humans in there that are ready to be woken up. Plus, I freaking love chess. So, yeah. Anyways, I am going to get off of here and go get some other stuff done. I appreciate you guys all joining me, and hopefully you will hit me up on Facebook. All right, I'm out of here. May God and the goddess bless you.